Do we have sound? Yes, we do. Happy Monday, everybody. Did you have a good weekend? I hope that we survived fairly well. Things got really funky for me, but I'm going to talk about that at the end. I'm trying to hold off my personal stuff to the end so we can get to the good stuff. So let's get to some good stuff. And this right here is my definition of good stuff. Starting us off, point blank, 1959, with a great throwback behind the scenes. It says, "Ups, something went wrong, and the take must be repeated. Sam looks like a beaten boy. He's pouting. Poor baby." He is. He is pouting. Why is he pouting? That is not that sad, Sam. I mean, I know no one likes to do a retake, especially if there's like a big piece of dialogue right in front. You ever see the outtakes where it's like one word just keeps messing them up over and over again? Or my favorite is you've taken it so many times you feel exhausted and ridiculous, and then the giggles set in. And it's contagious. And before you know it, everyone in the scene is giggling. And that is not how you take a clean take. So, yeah, we're just doing a check. We're checking our lines. We're making sure we get it right for the next one. And, you know, that's how we get this fantastic show, because they shoot until it's just right. And another piece of news also that is just right, I think. The LandCon shares that Grant O'Rourke is going to be at LandCon in Scotland. There's a big thing about it to read on the side, but anybody here not sure who this is? Okay, cool. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. We know who he is because, well, he's not coming alone, of course. Best pal is coming too. Yay! So we've got Stephen Walters as well. I think it's a really great convention if you can get both of these guys, because neither one should ever be by themselves. I'm serious. You can't have Angus without Rupert. You can't have Rupert without Angus. It's the saddest moment in the show when there is only one. So, yeah, I'm glad to see them both coming. I'm still very jealous, but that's all right. I'm excited to see the pictures you guys take, those of you going, and share, because those are always just really great. And moving along, our actors put up just a ton of pictures this weekend. So I have a lot. Charles Vandervaart did another phone dump. There are a couple in here we've seen before, but quite a few we haven't. So these are his camera photos. Always appreciate when he does a dump of all of his pictures that he can find that he thinks are worth sharing, because he travels. These guys go places, so it's really cool. Outlander Online commented, "All great pics. Love the first one. I see MTG table. I see the MTG table." Okay, so that's in a further picture. That's beautiful. My daughter really wants us to take her to the Natural Museum and the aquarium in Chicago sometime this summer. Oh, cool. Eiffel Tower. I've seen two smaller versions of that, one at a theme park and one in Vegas. But yeah, she wants to go see an aquarium and fish and sharks, and she really likes jellyfish. I think all kids really like jellyfish because they are so funky looking. Cool architecture, the buildings. That reminds me of like it's all of Europe. They squish their houses right up next to each other. And the States, we don't do that very much, unless like apartment buildings or townhomes, that kind of stuff. Yep. There's our extended water lilies, which, someone told me where that was. And now I can't remember. Give me a second. All right, sorry about that. I had to check real quick. And somebody, they didn't say not to say, but I'm just going to say your first name. Carol sent me an email giving me information on this, and that the water lilies is in Paris at the, bear with me because I know this pronunciation isn't going to be quite right, L'Orangerie in Paris. Yeah, so cool. And that's Charles' girlfriend. No comment. She's very lovely. Just a snarky person. Lots of boats. We saw another version of this where he was up high looking at lots of boats. You know what? I'm surprised. I shouldn't be, but it surprises me how many of them are not motorboats. They're just sailboats. That's very cool. I guess sailing is like, oh, look, it's Richard and John. Hi, Richard and John. John looks happy to be there. Richard looks confused. We're just going to move on. Oh, nice picture of Charles in the evening. That's really pretty. It's so funny because he's wearing such dark clothes. He stands out a lot. And the sunset. Oh, yep, saw that one before. Interesting architecture. Ew. Oh, that's, Van Gogh, yeah? I think it's Van Gogh. Van Gogh, depending on how you've been taught to pronounce it. Very cool. Love his story. think some of his paintings are really, really interesting. I when I paint, I get really irritated at myself for not having proper perspective angles. So this is really interesting to me because he ignores it, not completely, but a little bit. Ooh, cathedral ceiling. So we're back to that scene with Brianna and Roger walking through the university. Reminder of, to me anyway, that's not what this is. This is obviously a cathedral. Oh, and you know what? My friend Carol also told me that the church with the colored glass, she has the name here. Bear with me. I'm going to attempt to say it. Antonio Gaudi's La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. And I know that's terrible. I'm the worst pronunciation and probably didn't get it quite right. So, that's where he was. Thank you, Carol, for the information. Some more pictures here. Oh, that's lovely. And the church is cool too. Sorry. Oh, cool. Is he trying to skip rocks, or is he just like gonna fling something into the water? I don't know. As always, thank you for sharing, Charles. I don't know. Maybe he's going to fling himself into the ocean. Let's not do that, though. All right. Some Lauren Lyle photos coming up here. Lauren Lyle says, the bombing of Pan Am 103 out this Sunday, the 18th, which was yesterday, on BBC One and BBC One iPlayer. Okay, so that's where we can watch it. It's always a little trickier here, but it also says that it's coming soon to Netflix worldwide. So if you have Netflix, you'll have the option to see this. I do enjoy a lot of these movies where, like, the flight's about to crash, which I'm assuming is because I'm trying to doom myself in the future. Oh my gosh, how very retro. I dig it. Everybody who remembers, yeah, well, it hasn't been that long since we've all gone to digital, but I know that TV. I know it anywhere. I also know those jumpers. All right, another one from Lauren, shared by Outlander Online. It says, new photo of Lauren Lyle, and she's just out. She's out in the desert. That's the kind of pictures I expect to be taken in a few months. But yeah, she's out in the desert doing a thing. Very cool. I don't know who her friend is, but I'm digging her boots. It's preparing for the sand. You don't want to get sand in your boots or your shoes. So wear boots. Graham McTavish shares this one. It says, a great evening. A rain dance film festival sporting the kilts. The mighty McLeod on the left and the McTavish leaning in for support after a very busy festival in Cannes. Cannes Film Festival. Doug Ray, I'm not going to read all of those. But kilted, Cannes, dirty boy film. That's what's going on. Yeah, I like his kilt too. That's festively bright. Don't usually see him in like a festively bright kilt. Very nice. Everyone looks good. Oh yeah, my daughter is desperate to see this because she loves the Disney movie. Outlander Online shares this one, the new photo of David Barry and his sister at the premiere of Lilo and Stitch. Mr. David Barry on Instagram is where this came from. Originally, yeah, she's so excited. I do not care for the live action created from a cartoon movies too often. They lose something. So we'll see how it goes, but she's really excited about this. I'm a little leery, but not leery, never mind. Hermione Corfield, loving our Blood in My Blood cast because they are so good at sending us pictures. I just appreciate that so much. Hermione Corfield says, Content Day, Sony Pictures, shot by I believe he. Okay, we're going to go with that. Pretend that I pronounced that somewhere kind of coherently. Lovely. Orange is not my favorite color, but it looks good on redheads. I was a redhead for a short time, and I really got away with a lot of orange and red. Oh, very pretty. Very nice. And, oh, God, I still can't get over how she has just the perfect face to play Claire's mom. I'm so happy. I'm so happy they casted this so well. Okay. Cute purse. Now we got, it's just, a photo shoot. So we're just getting pictures. She's very pretty though. Oh, wow. See, and again, her figure is perfect to be Claire's mom too. Catriona has a very, not unique build, but a very specific type of build. And I'm really excited they were able to find an actress that does have some similarities to what we would expect Claire's family to have. Well, similarities to Claire. So it looks like a representative of her family. Very pretty. And speaking of Catriona, yes, I have another clip. Brilliantly Balfe following it says, it seems about time for a throwback to Caitriona Balfe's book club. Here, Catriona talks about ocean vongs on Earth were briefly gorgeous. Catriona recently recommended Oceans, the Emperor of Gladness on her Instagram. Let's see what she has to say. I think the most of it is what she's talking about. So let's just hear it instead of hearing me read what it's about.
I know that it was a difficult read for some of you, and I think if you have experienced trauma, sometimes this can be triggering, but I also think that sometimes it can be healing, because we can understand that other people have experienced something like maybe what you have, or there's some kind of connection, and hopefully that also means that you will find a way through it, just like Ocean has, and be it through writing, or be it through art, or creating, or loving, or peace, or gardening, or whatever it is for you, that sometimes, you know, we know we have to let go of it, or we have to move through it, that it'll never fully leave us, but yeah, it's possible. And I also want to say, you know, part of what I try and do with this book club, or part of what I love about reading so much, is that we get to walk in the shoes of an experience or a life that is so different to our own. And I think that's what literature gives us, and reading gives us, is this amazing capacity for empathy, because we understand another life in a way that we could never just from our own everyday life, right?
She spoke a little slower there. It took a minute to get there, but I agree with what she's saying. Again, I've told you before, my parents were both teachers, so reading was very integral to my sisters and my growing up. And when we discovered she had dyslexia, that didn't change. It was really about the stories and understanding. So audiobooks were our friends for her. We would often read to her, just because it is when you're dyslexic, it is very difficult to actually read for enjoyment. It's a struggle, every word. So yeah, that's, gosh, books and stories. Thank you, Catriona. Books are important. Obviously, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for a really great story written. So, we might be here, though, if it was a really bad story and happen to have this guy on it anyway. Point Blank 1959 shares this. There is a little bit of contention as to what this picture is, so we'll read on. Point Blank says, Sam Heughan working out in the garden during lockdown. In the first picture in 2020 in Clanlands, Graham says Sam always likes to lift things no matter how heavy. Witness his success in Men in Kilts. When he lifted the stone, Graham couldn't raise high enough. Oh yeah. Well, you know, Graham has his talents and Sam has his, and you know, it's kind of like any other partnership. You get a partner that is better at certain things than you are. That way you balance each other out. It works out really well. However, I don't read a lot of the comments and hashtags and stuff so much anymore, but I did want to read this one. Erickson Ann Charlotte says, no, it's not. Go back to this one. He's not in his garden, although she doesn't say. Point Blank never says it's his garden, just the garden. But Eric says he is in a rented villa in Hawaii. We know that. That's where he was for what, 6 weeks? That's where he spent about 6 weeks in the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. He was on holiday when all travel restrictions hit in March. Ooh, you know what? Yeah, that didn't even occur to me. What about people who were like, this is the week we're going to go to France, and then France locks down and you are becoming French for a year until travel's acceptable again. Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, so we got, you know, I like to throw in a couple of, I don't know, clickbait pictures of Sam, just because if you get all the way to the end, you ought to get a little gift, right? So we get our Catriona and we get our Sam. And I will tell you something, when I first saw this picture and wasn't thinking about the reference, I kind of wondered what Sam was doing to that poor innocent rock. But I will let that thought go. And I will say that I hope you guys enjoyed this collection of images, pictures, and videos. Because I am at my end of my Outlander update. I actually thought I would split this into 2 videos, but I think I went through it quickly enough that we can call it one. We are at the end, though, so you know what it's time for. It's time to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Thumbs down and comment. Let me know what you really thought if you disliked it. But you can also comment with positive stuff, too. I tend to try to read them. Even though I haven't been able to comment as much lately, I do try to read all of them. Now, of course, if you come here quite often, you should probably subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you'll know when the next video comes out. I will be doing a live today on Tuesday and on Thursday. However, starting next week, it's anyone's guess as my daughter is home from school and we're still figuring out what the schedule will be. Because it's summer and she's a year older and things change. So, big thanks to my members. Thanks so much for the support on this channel on a regular basis. I really do appreciate it, especially now, I've got a project I'm trying so hard to make reality. So, thank you so much for the continuous support. And, just thanks so much. And I'll try to have something out for you guys, especially this week. Don't forget, live tomorrow, but we have our Outlander chat tonight. We will have 3 of you coming and having a chat about episode 12. That's going to happen at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it. And now, what have I got? I have got a little bit of news. One, I went on my first driving lesson. Yay, to remind myself. And I did confirm something. I absolutely need to have driving lessons again because it has been a long time. It felt very uncomfortable. I'm going to practice and get myself up to snuff so that I'll be able to do a good job and drive safely. Yeah. Now, about those funds for the car. I want to thank, of course, all of you who have donated anything to the GoFundMe or to the super thanks that goes towards the vehicle. I really, really appreciate the extra assistance right now. And I have a huge announcement. This put me into tears, and that is that my mom, there's a little story here, but my mom put $3,000 towards it. So she's going to be picking at least 3 of the places I go. But she brought me to tears. Now, I didn't go to my mom and ask her for help here. The plan is, and this is the personal stuff that's going to take a minute. The plan was that, as you know, my father's in the hospital, are in rehab, and we do not believe that he's going to come out. His physical and mental state, they're not going to allow him to drive. He does have this really fantastic vehicle that they're going to give to my sister. Now, why my sister and not me? It is a Jeep, but it isn't the type of Jeep I was looking for, and quite frankly, it better fits my sister's needs. She has gone back to school. She lost her job a couple of years ago, and she is this close to graduating with, what is her next degree? This will be her second degree. But I believe that gives her 8 years of college, so whatever that is, or maybe it's 6 years of college. At any rate, she's getting her next step up in her degree for her specialty, which is, for lack of a better term, therapist. Trying to think of the best way to put this, because much like them trying to describe what I was studying for in college, she works on computers. I'm going to go with she works with people's brains and tries to make them better. At any rate, because of that, I have absolutely no complaints. I'm totally cool with them giving the car to her. She needs it. It is more her style. She's taller than I am, and it's a larger vehicle. It makes more sense for her. I had asked my mother, though, when they sell her very old, beaten up car that is, honestly, it needs a lot of assistance. The engine is good, but the body is horrible and it has a missing mirror. But I said, when you guys sell that car, could I possibly get the revenue from that to go towards my vehicle? And my mom and my sister were like, yeah, that's fine. That's great. That's terrific. It's cool with us. And then my mom said, after I had explained to her what it is I do here, which she really just didn't get it. She thought I made a silly video once a week and then went on with my life. She did not realize that it had become a 5 days a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day on certain days, and often at least a video on the weekend, kind of a situation that I was working towards something, that I had plans for expansion to help the channel grow. She really just didn't get it. And when we saw her this weekend, and she had because the agreeing to give the money from the proceeds of the sale of my sister's old car was a discussion we'd had a week or two ago. When I went over there, I said, I have really great news. I said, I got my permit. I've been out practicing driving. I said, I'm well on my way. My friends and my viewers are really supportive, and they're helping me brainstorm on ways to come up with it. I'm telling her this, and I did not realize she had pulled out her checkbook, and she wrote me a check for $3,000. And as she handed it to me, I'm like, what? Because that doesn't happen, you know? She says, I didn't really understand what it was you were doing, and when you explained the reasons that you wanted the vehicle sooner, and that there were plans, and it wasn't just because I want a car, she's proud of me. And that doesn't seem like a big deal, but my mother and I are often butting heads. We have very similar personalities, but with very opposing views on certain things. And so we don't always get along. She hasn't always understood, well, me. And I appreciate that she was very willing to listen to what it is I was trying to plan, listen for the reasons that I didn't want to wait an extra year. Why didn't I want to take my sister's car? I said, I don't want to pay insurance on a vehicle right now that I don't want, because what'll happen is what usually happens. And this is just easier on everybody, so I will give it up. I can't save as much money while I'm driving a vehicle that really can't go any further than one town away without probably having some issues. And explained to her again, why am I not taking a loan out on a car? B had asked that, and it's very simple. I don't have enough money coming in from this channel right now to cover insurance, to cover gas, to cover any incidentals that could come up with the car, and of course keeping a little money in the bank building up in case there are large repairs that come in the future. This channel doesn't make enough money, and while I do see that it's going to expand soon, I don't know that it would be quick enough to cover a car payment. So it isn't reasonable, and my best bet is to try to save up as much as I can, as quick as I can, and get a vehicle so that I can get to work and see family. I also did see my dad twice this weekend on Sunday. We went in the early afternoon, and he was fast asleep. So we did our errands, went and visited with my mom and my sister, did a few more errands, and then went back to try to see him as we were headed back to our town. And he was still asleep. So I basically woke him up long enough to say, hi, Dad, we came to visit you. We love you very much. Feel free to get some more sleep. He looked exhausted. And so, yeah. There's a lot still going on there. My mom feels terribly guilty that she doesn't necessarily want my dad to come home at this moment. But I don't blame her. He needs to be watched 24/7. He tries to get out of bed when he can't get back into bed. He just doesn't have the physical strength, and he doesn't have the mental stability to figure out where he wants to go or why. So, it's just a bad situation all around as far as that goes. But thank you for those of you who have kept inquiring about my dad and his health. He isn't in bad health, and he is being very well cared for where he is. He's just, I feel like I already said goodbye to the man that raised me, and it's really difficult to kind of think that this is all that he's going to be able to be for the rest of his life. I just really hope at some point he gets some clear moments. I'm going to put myself into tears, so taking a deep breath. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you for each view. Thank you for each comment. Thank you to all of you for getting this far in the video who did. I really appreciate it. If you want more Outlander information, or want to send any happy thoughts my way, please go to the post below, or as always, feel free to email me at please feel free to email me, Katie at katiescornerandspace.com. That email address is down below if you're not quite sure what I just said. And yeah, just thanks everybody. If you want more information about Outlander, you just check those playlists down below. There's a nice variety of stuff. So please go ahead, check through it, see what you like best, have a watch. And no matter what video you do choose, I'll see you there.